All right, looks like we're back, ready for the last day of the stream. I'm just gonna do a little setup here real quick. A couple takes a few minutes for people to get here. If anybody shows up, let's see. Do a little housekeeping. Well, I guess we'll see if people show up eventually. For anyone not aware, for watching on the record, this is just me doing a thing where I go back and re-edit photos from back in the day. These are ones that, like I said, my previous editing methods were not very good. So from stuff between roughly 2002 to 2005, I'm redoing those, and I've pretty much covered 2002, 2003. So we're on to 2000, some stuff in 2004. Then I'm doing old SEPTA Mid-Winter Trips. These are the annual trip I've been doing since 2001, where I usually lead anyone in the Philly area on a jaunt around the various modes of SEPTA. SEPTA is very unique because it has so many intersecting lines. You can take the subway to a regional rail line and then take one to another, and you can sort of make all sorts of loops and triangles and weirdo connections. So every year I try to mix and match it up. Hopefully we won't have the same problems with last time with the feed cutting out, but if it does, let me know. All right, we got people. I'm gonna get started. So this is part 3 of the SEPTA Mid-Winter Trip 4. I'm gonna be doing what was back in the day a part 2. This is because my old 64 megabyte smart media cards only hold about 9600K images. So I did one card, and I only had 2 cards and like two 64s and a 16. Then my next camera I went with multiple 1 gigabyte cards, and now I'm using multiple 16 gigabyte cards. This is why I'm having to store all my stuff on hard drives. So today we're starting off at we are returning from Cynwyd, hanging on the main line, waiting for our signal, and then we'll be returning to a Chestnut Hill East, Chestnut Hill West loop. This trip kind of was pure regional rail and seems to be retreading a lot of the same territory. But here we go. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's see make sure the stream's working right. Oops. Yeah, it looks like it is. It's like the 3rd time we've gone through Wayne Junction. So I'm not sure. Again, I have to go back and look through the photos, but this might have been one of those that I decided to cut. Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, so like I said, back in the day I would have decided to be that this would have been no bueno, because the camera focused on the window instead of the 52nd Street platforms. But I'm gonna keep it here just because, like I said, a lot more demolition has been done, and the valley flyover isn't used anymore. But you can see how the platforms work. We had you have a literal low level platform, a lower level low level platform for inbound mainline and Cynwyd trains. Then you have this upper platform, and there was a nice station house. It's still there. I think I might have a photo of it somewhere, but as I said, at least at the time, the Cynwyd trains had the lowest, very, very low priority for the operator to overbook. Not only did he have to Not only would he not want to impede anything on the main line, because the single car Cynwyd trains required manual block protection to the rear, he couldn't even have anything follow them until unless an absolute signal intervened. So they were very reluctant. They weren't going to give us the railroad until we were certainly needing to go. Like I said, there's the old 52nd Street platform. As far as I can tell, it was last used when the Cynwyd line switch refused to throw, and they had to platform. They had to transfer passengers across on that platform. So here we are showing both of the 64R signals at Valley. Usually, as I've seen it on my subsequent trip, a train would sort of creep up to the signal, and then it would get the, just as it came into view, it would usually get the signal at the last second. There's also the 64R off the Cynwyd branch is actually a fairly interesting signal because it just has that lower slow approach head, instead of the typical X for slow approach and restricting. PR, the PR system, which was somewhat interesting, is it did not, its high signals lacked any ability to provide a slow clear. So any slow speed movement had to go over slow approach. One way to mitigate this was the provision that PR liked to provide cab signals. If your cab signal went to clear as soon as you passed by your slow approach, then you could proceed at cab speed. The other thing they would use exit they liked using exit signals a lot, so you could make your slow speed movement, and then you would be able to hit past the exit signal. And proceed to the next interlocking. 1 second, let me just, where am I? Here we go. Wait, why am I going to the wrong signals here? Here we go. The 63 switch here is the last what I would call an interlocking appliance in Valley interlocking to this day. At this time, it was still, I believe it was, I can't entirely see. We'll have to see. At some point very early on, it was air-powered, and then it was switched to over an electric, although they left the air piping and stuff in. Valley previously said it had that 7067 switch up on the track 4, and it also had a crossover between track 1 and track 2. So in theory, a mainline train could go track 1 to track 2, while in parallel, a Cynwyd train went from track 2 to track 1. That was removed before 1992. And if you're patient enough, the operator at Overbrook eventually notices that you're there and gives you the signal. Now, I don't know. I suspect that this can display a stop and proceed for some sort of restricted speed movement. So if you're sitting there waiting on, if you got to go ahead of someone, I bet you'd get a stop and proceed. So that's just my some bean counter back in 1948 figured that we could we can save on a bulb here. you can check my other videos for the SEPTA Silverliner 2 last runs, where it also has, it's basically also Cynwyd head end cab videos. Although I think some of them might have been run in the reverse direction. I think I did both, but I'm not 100% sure. So at some point, we're back out on the Reading trunk, and here we are encountering what we call the conga line south of Huntington, what SEPTA Huntington or Hunt interlocking. This is because this guy might have been going outbound, but I'm betting he's going. He might have been. Oh, we'll see. We'll see the other signals. In the morning, when you come out of the city going north, you run into what I call the conga line on track 3, where all the trains that are trying to get into the Pallerton yard for the midday layover will form this conga line on track. We'll just fill up track 3, one nose to tail, between 16th Street and the other one, Hunt. So there's the 2004 version, heavily filtered, washed out. That was one of the things I didn't quite realize. When you use the Clarify filter, it desaturates the image. So if you want to use it, you got to go and make sure you at least resaturate it. Yep. So here we go. Here is the signal at CP Hunt, or not, I keep saying CP. It's not a CP. This is SEPTA Hunt. So when a train is ready to go in the yard, first off, there's an exit signal for restricting. So trains are going to get medium approach, so they can at least make that movement. Second, you've got a route indicator that indicates the train is lined for the yard, because they don't want revenue passenger trains going into the yard, or this is an area that it would be prone to very unfortunate misroutings. So they put that little marker light right below the main signal there, so that the crews know that they're routed into the yard. So I always called this Huntington. And I also put the train in first. So I'm going to definitely rename this. I should check if it's Hunt or Huntington. A lot of things I'm saying is it's Hunt now. But I can go and fix that if I'm wrong when I go and get my actual stuff. That's not track 3, I'm sorry, that's track 2. So you can see here the double slip across track 4 plus the exit signal. You also don't need, as I said before, you don't need an exit signal so much, as long as you just have something that indicates that it's the end of auto block. Sure that, Yep, yeah, there's SEPTA photos from a trip I took in 2004. So we're coming up on Wayne interlocking. So this, despite the Reading and being this is a fairly advanced trunk line, wealthy Reading Railroad signaling, etc. This was not 260, dual bidirectional 261 until the Railworks project of the 1980s or early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. Railworks is when the SEPTA effectively shut down the whole trunk line and routed and basically terminated all traffic at Fern Rock or Wayne Junction, and they just rebuilt the whole viaduct, re-signaled everything, cab signaled it, they had a whole. It kind of impacted ridership, but it sort of needed to be done. Here you can see the sort of the mix of signals here at Wayne. Some of the old USNS large target TRs, followed by some smaller target tri-lights. You can tell it was originally single directional because the two northbound, track 1 and track 2 have this sort of lower basket for the subsidiary signal that Reading liked to do, and the newer ones were just glommed onto the gantry as best SEPTA could do it. If we go here to the original, that's the other thing. I think Hunt interlocking was added by SEPTA as well to get into that. Pallerton Yard did not exist. That was added for SEPTA. It was one of those things they had to update their services when they went from Reading Terminal to the Center City Tunnel. All those trains coming out of Center City off the PRR side need to go somewhere. There was a yard at North Broad that I think existed, but they just needed to build a whole new yard equivalent to Pallerton. So then they don't have to do any backup moves, which the New York Central does, like up at Metro North. So these are the signals. It's 38L, 46L, 48L, and 50L. But I can just sort of make that a little easier and just say it's either 48L or 50L medium clear. It's 50L medium clear. Oops, don't need to sharpen that again. So Wayne, northbound, gantry, 50L. I call them signal. Oops, forgot to put the medium clear in there. I use I use the British term signal gantry. I'm not trying to be elitist or anything. It's because there are other types of bridges. So if I say, it's a northbound bridge, you can't say northbound. You can't just say bridge. You have to say, well, it's a signal bridge. But when my file names are getting longer and longer and longer, you need to be succinct. And if I just call it a gantry, I don't need to specify that it's a signal. It's that it's some other kind of gantry. So in that case, the British terminology actually helps make it a lot more specific and succinct. Here you have the famous Wayne Junction double slips. As you can see from the 1976 diagram, these were original to the interlocking. And there are two of them because you don't need one on what is now track 4, but on the Reading. The Reading did originally used a 3-1-2-4 system, but I'm pretty sure that SEPTA just came through and whirlwinded it into a 1-2-3-4. Now the interesting part is I just didn't notice that. So this is an R7. We're going to Chestnut Hill East. So we came out on SEPTA track 1, which is northbound local. And here at Wayne Junction, we are going all the way over on the double slips. They're set reverse, and we're crossing the whole 4 tracks. Or crossing 2 of the middle tracks, or at least 1 of the middle tracks. Yeah, we're going all the way over. Wayne Junction's an interesting thing. It's I can actually. Oh, that's right. I actually have the numbers for these switches, so I don't have to say whatever. This is the 4751 double slip. I got people here. Yeah, I've been doing this trip for a while. It started out as a thing. It was originally designed as a way for a lot of the people who are on the sub chat message board who are home from college or off school for the winter, the week between Christmas and New Year's, to be able to get out and to do some rail trips. And that's the whole point of it. By the way, notice the GRS switches here are the switch machines are single mode. Also, unlike a USNS switch machine, GRS switch machines can both pull and push. So you only need one of them for a movable point frog, whereas in a USNS electric machine, you would need two M3s. Another little blurry thing here, but we've gone through the eastern portion of Wayne Junction, and now we're going to come up to the next one. That's the 51 switch, I believe. And we're going to be crossing under, if I go to the diagram, it's the 47 switch, and we'll be hitting a medium clear on the 32L. Yeah, it's nice to be able to go back and, accurately relabel these. And earlier in the day, we didn't really get good views of Wayne Tower, but here it is again. And I think I said in the first stream that this was active. No, it had just recently closed. Unfortunately. If you go online, you can find photos of there are a few photos of the Wind and the Wayne machines in there, of the operators. I'm going to pump up the color a little bit. It's sort of getting late in the day, so the colors are fading. This trip I actually was sort of special because I had a tower invited Overbrook later after the trip. It was sort of an unannounced thing because the guy who worked there didn't want anything getting back to him. And so we did this. This SEPTA Mid-Winter Trip was able to go a little later than it normally did. I think I have a few photos from that, but I should have taken more pictures on that one. But I'm not sure if he was allowing pictures in the tower or not that day. Although I have other ones, which I'm slowly doing. All right, that's the first set. Coming up on the second. Make sure I haven't lost the video signal here. Now you got people here. Some people here. So we're heading up to Hill East. I don't have a lot of photos of Hill East on this trip, of the line. But it is interesting when you compare Hill East and Hill West of how the even though the Reading was a fairly wealthy railroad, let's say let's back in the 1930s, it still didn't hold a candle to the PRR. And when you ride the Hill East line, you can feel that it's done to a different price point of Hill West. For example, Hill West, now it's been they've been adding some rebuild, but the concrete is definitely crumbling more significantly on Hill East right now. For the longest time, there was no interlocking at the end of Hill East. There was just a spring switch. I think like a CP type controlled signal. Whereas at Hill West, the PR had put a tower. They had a full-on pneumatic full crossover. Hill West was cab signaled, although it wasn't back in the. That was a more modern thing. Hill East is still built to a 40-mile-an-hour standard. Hill West is built to a 50-mile-an-hour standard. I used to be able to whittle off the. I wish I could. I used to be able to tell the story of Hill East and Hill West and why that's a thing. This appears to be the. So here the stuff gets a little dicey because this is where where they rebuilt it, and it sort of doesn't look like it used to. What did I call this? I'm just gonna try to use the old name. Oh, that's right. I gotta change the thing back to date. But the PR Reading rivalry was quite quite an active thing. It was, I believe, that I think I'd have to go and look at the dates, but I'm pretty sure what happened was the PRR built a line to Cape May. Did they? Oh, see, I can't remember who started what now. Huntington double slip. Yeah, let's call this that. So effectively, there's a lot of corporate retaliation. I believe the first. Oh gosh. I think the Reading or the PR did something. It was either, I think the Reading. Again, I'm hemming and hawing here. But basically, there were three places where the Reading and the PRR sort of almost came to literal blows. The line to Cape May, which involved literally the Reading installing a crossing in the dead of night and tying up the PRR employees to do that. Hill East, Hill West, where one of them was a retaliation for the previous thing. And then the PRR, as another retaliation, built a line to the Schuylkill branch, to Reading itself. So, hold on, I'm just trying to check. I'm out of my groove here. There it is. Okay. I used to know that story really, really well. I mean, in terms of which move came first. There was another thing where the PRR was trying to build a line up. It was somewhere around West Trenton, and it literally involved at one point the PRR parking a locomotive across the diamond that the Reading had surreptitiously installed, and then the Reading crashing another locomotive into it. The state militia was called out on multiple occasions to put down these sort of corporate feuds. It's interesting how much it shows you the imagine if Google and Apple were going at it that way today. You can't say they weren't motivated. So here we have the famous Wayne connector track. This was not part of the original interlocking setup. If you can go here with the diagram, that portion is right there. This connection was added during rail works for freights to use. I don't know. It sort of wraps around and goes into the yard and something. I don't think it's used much in its intended purpose anymore. But yeah, that's you wouldn't see something like that SA stack there like you would. The Reading wouldn't have put that in. Where is that? I think I found a name to something, so I just want to go and quick rename it. Ah, okay, that is the 31 switch. Sometimes things don't look quite as they appear. Oops. In the diagram. So you can see, again, this is all, I don't know how they did this today. I'd like to say it's got a high level platform, but how do you handle the both track thing? So why don't we go and see? Let's go to the overhead. See what's up there. And I'm curious. See, the platform is still there. What the devil did they do? Huh. I guess they can only platform on that one track, which seems mighty inconvenient. Or R7 trains can't stop at Wayne Junction. Now I need to go get a schedule. Let's see what this. No, I'm not gonna go get a schedule. But yeah, there's the 31 switch like there, and then there's a 17 switch there, and here's that new connector track that they added in. That's new. But boy, look at that. So it used to be that both northbound and southbound R7s could platform at the low-level Wayne Junction. Now, I'm betting what they do is, I'm betting that at some point, if there's a conflict, they just don't have them. Is there even a crossover? Yeah. I bet they just have them cross over and just use that one station track. But if there's a problem, they would have to. Oh, that's interesting. There's already a bottleneck. So any train coming off the R7, it has to funnel to a single switch right there in front of the Wayne Tower. And because the other way just takes you into the yard. There's no way out. So I guess they just, again, it's SEPTA. We don't care if we have big bottlenecks. Oh, well. Who needs capacity? We're not increasing service. So it's getting later in the day, and I gotta reduce some of the I gotta do color correct. Start doing more color correction because it's a little too blue. So, sorry, commuters. You're not gonna. Oops. I gotta get that. I gotta crop that. I'm gonna crop that whole guy out of there. He doesn't need to be there. Boop. All right, we are good to go. Let's see what people are up to. We got some people here. Let me know if you have questions. Is that an auto? I think that's an auto, and yeah, that is. I know I have photos of that signal, whatever that is. I can't read it off of this. Maybe I can get it off of the diagram. Ooh, I can't. Notice back in the day, all single direction. Also note, Reading can only give the yellow over red over green approach slow. So they had that here. Not sure exactly where that would become. Oh, no, sorry, that was an approach. What would that be? I don't know. So I got to figure out what that signal is. So why don't we go to the archive and see Fox Chase line. It's going to find Chestnut Hill East line. Here it is. No, that's not it. There it is. Signal 253. Yeah, again, this has all been removed due to cab signaling. Nice little exit signal there, but yeah, that would have been a USNS TR upgraded to LEDs. So it's a nice picture. That's 2010. I bet that. I wonder if that was taken during the one of the farewell trips. Might have, or no, it was taken during another midwinter. So I'm just going to. Oh, yeah. CHE signal 253, which is displaying a clear, but it's next to Wayne Junction signal, or Wayne interlocking signal. 18R. And you can see Wayne Electric Shops in the background. I'm also wondering why there's a Reading, Blue Mountain, and Northern switcher there. See, or no, that's an SMS switcher. SMS Lines, for those who don't know, is a local South Jersey, southeastern Pennsylvania short line that prides itself on using mostly Baldwins, although that is quite clearly an EMD. So let me just get that in the frame. Cool. Just the crop on the photo, brighten it up, and they'll give it a save. So what did I say? That was the signal. That was 18R. Yep. So I'm going to say Wayne 18R rear plus clear, soft, and it's wide. Here we go. That describes everything in the photo. Here we are passing the old Wayne Electric Shops. That could be Reading, Blue Mountain, and Northern, but it could also be SMS Lines. They both use Reading schemes. Here we have SEPTA 60 next to FEPTA. SEPTA 60 is one of the two what they call RL1s locomotives. They were Republic Locomotive is a small manufacturer. SEPTA bought. Someone paid a kickback, and SEPTA bought two arguably passenger-equipped diesels for its Railworks program, with a grand total of 1,500 horsepower. They didn't work out so well, and now they're kind of one of their shop units, maintenance of wire trains, stuff like that. It looks like SMS 436. What I can do is I can just go over to Google and see if that's a real thing. I don't see it there on the SMS roster. Let's see if it's a Reading and Northern. Oh crap, this is crashing my browser. There it goes. Well, if they did have one, I don't know. I don't know what that was. I can't tell. I'm just going to guess. Blunk. I don't lose the stream, did I? No, it doesn't look like it. Oh, we got some twos in the back lot. Ah, the back lot where stuff goes for fixing. Punched up the color a little bit. Let's decrease the amount of blue in that. And then we'll just give it the old save-a-roo. I'll probably call this what it was before. This is just a trash photo. I might be one of those another ones that I didn't even save. Yeah, I didn't even save this one. But see, this is the thing. I didn't save this back in the day, but in this photo, I got a Silverliner 2 there. There's a 3 behind it. You got a whole bunch of these Comet coaches. So, I can't even identify what the numbers on those are, but I'd rather have the photo than not. And until this point in time, no one was, that had been deleted in 2004 and lived on a CD, backup CD somewhere, and now it's going to see the light of day for people. Now, I can't see what that signal is because it's facing away, but I do know I do know what that is for my other resources. So let's get this cropped to 3x4. Then I'll go back to my signaling thing. That is signal 252. There's another photo that I didn't even bother to include. And that's the Fisher's Station. Wait, that's abandoned? Oh, that one's abandoned. Wait, what? Huh. That's actually an abandoned station. I didn't even know that. It was abandoned in 1992. So, sorry, I said 92? 92. Cool. So, you see, I learn something new every day. Let's brighten this up a little bit. Try to get the contrast a little bit better. And give the old resize and whatever. So I'm just going to start with the signal. And you see, I wouldn't have gotten this. I deleted this photo as crap back in 2004. I didn't know that was an abandoned station. It doesn't look like it's super abandoned. It looks as dingy as all the other SEPTA stations. Again, because they only had 90 photos, I couldn't really do a survey of the line. I probably just sat down to talk with people. There was a certain freedom to not feeling that you needed to photograph everything back in the day. Now, again, contrary to popular belief, this was not. It looks like an interlocking was not an interlocking. I think it had a CP designation. I think it was like CP Spring. We can go check. That's the beauty. Yeah, the Hill East line had a lot of Hill East, the writing, like Germantown has like a 10-mile-an-hour curve. I'm pretty sure this came second. I got to go back and review my PR Reading rivalry history to see what was revenge for what. Yeah, it's Spring. I think back then it was CP Spring. Now it's a... No, they never got a full crossover because there just wasn't room for it, I believe. Oh, they have 3 tracks. But the odd part is, although the R8, the Hill West, was clearly a nicer built line, the Hill East had a whole ton of tracks. Actually, they were all taken out of service at one point. most of the switches didn't even connect. It looks like SEPTA has indeed rebuilt that, so good for them. Do I know what the track numbers are on that? Probably not. So I'm going to give this a CP designation because this was a controlled point, not an interlocking. Yeah, that looks like that looks like a hard crossover, but I'm almost entirely sure that it's not. Or is it? Let's check. Huh. Maybe they did put one in. Maybe it was an interlocking back then. But that's clearly a spring. I don't know. This is weird. They might have been in the process of turning it into an interlocking. At one point that was a spring switch. Yeah, see, that yard track there wasn't connected. I don't think the other ones were in service. Oh, okay, I did list that as an M3, a new M3. Signals were clearly not new. This was just such a dingy station. See, and that was the third track, too. So that's clearly in service today. You can go right in there and see they have things on the track. And, yeah, that was out of service X years ago. See, now why wouldn't I include this picture? Damn it. There we go. Hey, that's another one of those ones I may or may not have gotten into the old railpictures.net before they increased their standards. Pretty simple thing here. Ugh. I accidentally saved over the original file. Not that it matters. It just screws things up in terms of where they appear. So I just got to be careful not to accidentally delete that. There we go. Oh, hey, we're done our second set, I think. Cool. Let's see if people are still watching. No, it's just me, one guy. Yeah, I've been to Connecticut quite a bunch. I went to school there, so I actually was home from Connecticut when I was doing these photos for the first time. Just deleting 11 this time. There we go. Whoop. 2 sets left. Hill East, Hill West, and back to North Philly. So, still at Hill East, real briefly, just till I can get this guy here. Where is it? There it is. It's gonna keep the same name, but notice it's a little bit blue. So I'm gonna boost some of the light and the highlights, and remove some of the blue color. Color correct that a bit. A bit of irony, we go over to Hill West and we find a Silverliner 2 with a Redding unit. So Redding bought, these cars were provided, were funded by the city, state, government, whatever, to improve commuter rail service. The Redding's still using its 1930s Blue Liners, and the PR using its MP54s from between like the 1915 and 1920 something. The PR bought 2 batches, I think 38, I forget how many cars, 38 maybe, and the Redding bought 17. It was a 2/3, 1/3 kind of arrangement. The Redding cars were in there, numbered all their MUs in the 700 series, the 9000 series, the PR cars were in their 200 series. SEPTA, the Redding MUs, I know the single cars were in the 9000 series, the Silverliner 4s, but the multiple units were numbered 101 or 100 through like 188. But these are the last ones, the last things running around with the Redding numbers on them. And they also kept the cow catchers till the end. So this is labeled as Austin Tower. I'm pretty sure that's the accurate name, but I'm not going to call it Austin Interlocking, although I probably should. This would have had a little tiny USNS Model 14 machine. I don't know. What's going on here? There's the photo. Yeah, I don't know when this was closed, but I do know that in the PR era, control of the interlocking had passed to a table interlocker inside Chestnut Hill West station. And then at some point, it was remoted to Tower A, which controlled the airport line. And then in 2003, when they closed all the towers, it went to 1, 2, 3, 4 Market. So in this cute little photo here, the train has the lineup, has a slow approach going to an exit signal. Not sure why it doesn't get a slow clear going to a clear exit signal, but got slow approach. Now I can actually go and pull up. I think I might go and pull up the diagram for this just so I can call those signals something. So here's the Chestnut Hill West line diagram. Yeah, you're right. Those they didn't have a slow clear. See, I saw this at Q interlocking in New York, where none of the signals have slow clear; they just have slow approach. Yeah, that has to be a holdover from the original interlocking, probably because it was cheaper to, it probably saved a relay, and a relay was quite a pretty piece of equipment back then. So that'd be a 2R signal slow approach. What do I call all these stuff here? I gotta go back and check on this. I'm gonna throw the number of whatever that Silverliner 2 is in there too, but I don't have it right now. See, here we go. I'm pretty sure this all got redone, but this was just this. When I came here, I was just sort of super stunned that there was this cute little pure PR pneumatic interlocking just sitting in the middle of nowhere in Chestnut Hill. You had the airline there, you got an air plant there, you got PR position lights, you got the pedestal, you got everything here, and it was just cute as a button. That's not what I wanted. What did I want? Okay. Huh, I did something there that didn't work right? Oh, that's because I didn't resize it. Always remember to resize. There we go, that's a proper size. We doing okay here? Yeah, I should really give SEPTA or NJT a try. It's fun. Get out. I mean, I know you're stuck up in Metro North territory, but you can get to NJT pretty easily. I've done Metro North stuff from South Jersey. So you can see how short the platforms are at Hill West. That the nose of this 2 train. Now, the interesting. I think there are actually 2 trains there. They had double parked them in that one station track. Now, what should be what should be obvious to anyone who is paying attention, that's the same train set, R8 train set. It's interesting. The SEPTA R system never quite worked because they never were able to balance the pairs. Like, the only things that worked were R5. R5 goes to R5, and I think they were sending at this point R7s to Hill East, but they started doing all sorts of weird pairings to match the traffic. But Fox Chase always went to Hill East. That was the one like that worked. Cute. Kind of. Got a little wider view here, man. I was all over the place on these trips. Guess I wasn't super afraid of getting bitched at or whatever. I'm gonna crop off some of this foliage over there. I don't need that. There we go. It was caught there. Oh, I'm blowing up. What the fuck? Sorry about that. Let's see what else we got going on here. How's this 150? What? Oh, did I not save this yet? Oh, I didn't save this yet. Cool. Alright, let's see what's next. Ah, the air plant. Yeah, the air plants are always fun. You know, it's just one of those things that, you know, it just costs a ton to maintain these, but you know, they make cool noises and chugga 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 chugga. You got your compressor's going to be in one of these. Probably that one's your compressor. There's your air reservoir, and then there's your relay case next to the 4R signal. The reason it says blocks there is because if you ever have to spike and wedge the air switches, to then after if you have to hand crank them, if you have an air failure and you got to hand crank, then you got to spike and wedge. So that's where they put the wedges. One special thing of Hill West is that it was built on such a gradient that they had to add power derails on the interlocking to prevent trains from just rolling down the hill. Because what if they got going, there was nothing stopping them until they ran into the main line at North Philly or derailed at some point. But the gradient coming into Hill West is just intense. I mean, you can tell how monstrous the grade is. So these were very wise precautions. Now, while the switches were 1 and 3, these the Hill West doohickeys here were 01 and 01 and 02. So there's like, hey, you know, if you need another thing for the one, and they actually had a special on the when the Hill West was a table interlocker. You know, 4-lever machine, 2 levers for each of the signals, 2 for the switches. And then there's a special, like, small control panel for the derails. Oh, it says C Note 4. Huh, back in the day, those were actually some other type of switch machine displaying the derail position, but it looks like they were interlocked by this time. I like the nice big 01, 02 labels. Up here we have some of the actual. See, I guess I had a bit of time before our train left. You can really tell how the light's getting low here. I'm surprised my camera was still functioning well in this light. Number one, it's I guess SEPTA did use the A/B system. So here we have the 1A switch plus the A5 plus the CP valve plus the points plus the 3B switch plus its A5 plus CP valve plus points all on the side. And that's how you get some rather disturbingly long file names. I try to knock me out of the hand, but sometimes you just can't do any better. Let's see if I can. See how I can crop this. If I can do anything here. I don't need that terminal box. A little zoom going on in here. Brighten it up. Reduce the amount of the blue. And then this one is just kind of half the first one. I can just delete that whole first bit about the 3B switch. Boop. And here's the other really neat thing. I actually have a photo in one of my Triumph books that has a picture of this signal bridge in 1915, right after it was electrified, or 1918, and it had the original PR semaphore signals on it, the position lights, the 4 lampers. With little subsidiary signals too. That's a really wild photo. Really cool. Right out, it's in the fact that it's all still here. It's all really well painted. All the air pipes going all over the place. I don't know. I haven't been up there today. I assume that maybe the signal power is probably still there. Now, of course, they had the pedestal signal replaced that was the home. Inbound, a reverse dwarf, and then an exit signal, a 115 auto exit signal. Let's see what I called this file back in the day. I mislabeled the signal. I called it 119. It's 115. No, wait. It is 119. I was right. Okay. All right, coming down to the end of it. Just got to delete this guy. And we're on to our last subset. This one's going to be 13 photos. Just because I have 49 today. It's just how the cookie fell. And then that'll be it. Yeah, this one's going to be fun. This is going to be North Philly. North Philly's always been a really great spot. And I've been there, actually, we're going to go back this year. I think I was looking through these photos and it reminded me. So I'm going to be doing my midwinter trip. We'll end at North Philly. It's a great place to end because it's sort of what I call an indeterminate length stop. You can just sort of sit there until people get cold and want to go home, or the light goes away. So this is before when North Philadelphia Tower was in the process of being closed. You can see here's your original slow speed signal for trains off the Hill West. along with a little dwarf. And that's that 1930s style dwarf that curves to the left instead of curving to the right. But then here under the bags is the new high signal that's going to replace that dwarf, so it's going to be fully bidirectional. Fortunately, I have pulled up somewhere. Here you go. The North Philadelphia State diagram from 1992. So that's the slow approach is on the 34R signal, and next to it's the 32R. If you stay around, I'll pull up some photos of the North Philadelphia interlocking machine, which I have as well. Let's see what I can do with cropping this. I want to get this post out of there, but I don't think I have the room for the aspect ratio. Well, maybe I do. There it goes. This is quite late in the afternoon. North Philadelphia is one of those things with one of the longer interlocking names. We have a little bit wider thing here. I moved down to the end of the platform. That's that very famous signal, the like 6-track signal bridge at North Philadelphia. Again, you can see the small left-pointing dwarf there. $30R. It's $34R. So go to our diagram. That would be the 32L reversed. I remember back in the day there was an extra crossover on the Hill West branch for reasons. I honestly don't know why that was there. Probably something. It was why that extra trailing point thing. Probably something to do with it's probably so reverse direction moves could reach the right platform at North Philly or some stupid reason. But notice there's a small reverse direction signal out on the wrong direction track, which you can get a slow clear on because you can cross over to the right way. But that's what will differentiate this photo. So I'm going to say this is... Did I screw something up in the last photo? Come on. $32R. Oh, that's the 52L. Okay. Yeah, actually that signal is controlled from the table interlocker, the 52L there. When they re-signaled it, they ripped out that other portion, and it became just a automatic signal in the correct direction. So that's 52L plus SEPTA 257. Badunk. Oh, that's 52L rear. Next. Like I said, it was the same train set, and there's number 217 again. I think we were aware that we kept catching the same train all day that day. It wasn't long after that the Silverliner. It was SEPTA was treating its Silverliner 2s oddly. For a while, they were running them all the time on weekends to just run the. It looked like they were trying to run them into the ground. And then when the new cars, the 5s, got delayed, they're like, "Oh crap, we can't. We need these." So they pulled them back a lot. And they became very hard to find again. Here's that gap where you can see the 16th Street Junction. I mentioned that in a previous video. That North Philadelphia, the whole big North Philadelphia complex was right above the big, right above the big Reading complex. And this is actually taken in the gap at the end of the platform between the Hill West and the NEC right there. Whoa, yeah, like I said, when it rains, it pours. I mean, there were times, not many years after this, where I would just spend all day looking for 2s and 3s, and it would just be, you could not find a 1. But this day, we could just not go wrong. This is another PRR car number 260. Let me just see if I can find what I called this before. Here it is. But it's starting to get really dark here. There's the green. The level of green is increasing quite a bit. Let's see who's in the chat. What's going on? Oh, looking good. And this is a mixed car of 2s and 3s. SEPTA didn't like running mixed. They would mix 2s and 3s, but not 2s, 3s, and 4s. That was mainly because the 2s and 3s did not have dynamic brakes. So that was kind of a bit of an annoyance when you had 4s in the mix, which did. Although, you know, they did mix them. It didn't not happen, but it just didn't happen very frequently. Here we have a departing shot of 236 and 260. My original file name, I did not indicate that both of those units were there, so I think I'll do that today. Oh, yeah. There are also a whole ton of freight tracks. I mean, there was even a diamond at North Philadelphia. I mean, this must have driven the Amtrak maintainers bonkers. Like having to deal with a diamond and a trap circuit. And, man. And these are all like switches to nowhere. Because all the old freight tracks and stuff had been removed. Guess there was another. We were there a while if another R8 pulled out. Oh, sneeze. Been doing this for an hour and a half. Um, so these would have been the... oh, wait. I know the track numbers because I can just go look them up. It is... Ta-da! Come on. Why is Firefox being... Oh... see, that station track was removed. And so... this is weird. Yeah, that's the 2W and 1W and the 2W, the new 1W and 2W. What are those? Yes, those would be the new signals for track 1 and track 2. So because the Amtrak uses a fairly straightforward naming convention, I can just say what they are. New 1W plus 2W, boom, done. Named. So those are the famous high signals at North Philadelphia. And you have some little dwarfs in there too. The signals on the gantry are 30R, 28R, 40R, 36. Probably 6R, not 36R. Since they removed the other station track, that weirdo station track there. Let's double check that. Yeah, it's 30. It's the 36R and the 6R. So 30R, 28R, 36R, 6R. See if I can remember that. Westbound gantry plus... Not going to remember it. Not going to remember it. $30R, $28R, $40R, $6R. No, $36R, $6R. Plus $30R plus $28R plus $36R plus $6R plus new 2 plus 1W. Boom. Nope, nope. Boom, properly described. That's a mouthful. Good old North Philadelphia Tower. It's still painted, it's still there. It was always so cool whenever I passed that tower on an Amtrak train at night. You could look up into the window and you could see your train on the way they had the windows open. They're a little closed now. You could see your train on the model board passing the tower at night. That was the neatest thing. Okay, that's what the name is. That's what it's going to be. And the last two photos here. So at this time, that is still the 50L. What did I do with that photo back in the day? 50L approach. I just sort of cropped into it. All right. Get rid of all the stupid fencing and stuff. North Philadelphia used to have actually an Amtrak station there. I don't know what the clientele they were serving is because the area looks like a war zone. But, you know, they had a building. It was there at least in the 80s. Well, actually, I exactly resized this the size I wanted it to be. Yeah, let's call it that. Fine. There you go. Last thing. I don't even think I need to crop this because it has everything I need in it. So, yep. Yeah, that bridge in the foreground is the 16th Street junction. That's the Reading line. So I'm going to list out all those signals again like I did before. But that's definitely the 28R clear plus new 2 west plus 1 west. Maybe I don't need that 28R and 30R since I've already labeled the gantry, but I do need to call out those dwarfs. And the new 2 west and signal. Alright, there we go. I think we're done. Let's see if anyone's still around. Boy, that took a while. I'm sorry. Let's just check the thing. See who's here. I got some extra people. Thanks for liking the stream. Like I said, I'm on Fios right now, so I'm just having fun with it. Like I said, I promised you guys, whoever's still watching, some fun. So I'm going to go and just pull up that thing of North Philadelphia Tower that I had. If you're watching, I need to put these together into a into a blog post. But there's the Chestnut Hill machine. Table interlocker, 50, 52, and then the 53 switch. Had two blocking devices on it. One for the rusty rail, one for the regular block. Yep, that's the same Chestnut Hill. And here's your diagram. In 99, they removed the whole left half of the interlocking, the west ladder. That became Amtrak Lehigh. And all it was the ladder, the station tracks. They even removed one of the station. They had a weird station track setup that they dealt with too. The machine is ancient, from like 1914, 1912, just like Q&R Tower. But yeah, there's your North Philadelphia interlocking machine. Straight out of whatever. And like I said, you could come by and you could see your train on those model board lights right there. So it looked way more complicated than it was. Well, by this time, this was in 2005. They'd removed a ton more stuff before they finally closed. This is right before it closed. Yeah, there's your big ol' interlocking machine. I'm not sure which signal that was for. Anyway, there's your panel blocker. I bet most of this stuff's still there. So, thanks for watching. I'm going to head out, and this is probably the last stream I'm going to be doing for a while. Like I said, I'm just doing this home because I'm on the Fios, so I can deal with it. I don't have bad internet in my other place. But I will return over the Christmas break, doing a number. That would be between December 22nd and December 27th. So check back, and also check my feed for all these streams will be appearing on my channel shortly, some point this week. I just have to edit them and get them all ready. So also remember, if you're in the Philly area, I have the SEPTA Mid-Winter Trip on December 28th, 2017, leaving from Suburban Station at 8:40 promptly. Please be there if you want to come. All right, I'm gonna shut this down. You guys have a great day, and I will see you later.